when you're registering your content's copyright, do you have to do it one at a time, or can you do this in batch form? Let's talk to everybody's favorite IP and entertainment lawyer, Tony, to find out more.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok account called The IP Professor that is dedicated to all things intellectual property.
We had a question come up in some Facebook groups earlier this week all about whether or not you can copyright protect multiple things at the same time. Do we have the ability to copyright protect a lot at once, or do we have to do each individual thing by itself?
Absolutely. There is a world where you can register multiple works at the same time. And I think it's important to note that it's going to be relative to each person what they would prefer. Odds are if you are, let's say, registering a whole series of photos that are part of a collection, if you will, that's where a bulk registration would come in handy. The good thing with something like that is you pay your application filing fee one time. You do not have to pay it each and every time. And that's where you kind of get into the inverse of it, where there is a world where you can register each and every photo that you take individually, but you have to pay your application filing fee each and every time. The benefit of filing it once, obviously, is right then and there from a financial point of view. Also, filing in a bulk manner is not going to slow down the process whatsoever. It's just going to be regarded as no different than if you were registering multiple works at the same time. But again, I just want to provide a heavy emphasis that this would probably be very beneficial to, let's say, a photographer that's working on let's say, a specific series. Let's say they were taking photos of, architecture in their local town, or if they were doing even wedding photos. If you're in the wedding photo business, this is a great way to get your copyrighted works registered because it's all part of the same collection, anthology. John and Sally got married. That's where you're getting registered as that collective whole. If you have 500, even 1,000 or plus photos from that wedding, you can get that registered as one collective work, and each one is going to have its own individual copyright protection, just as strong as if it were just that one photo individually protected. So that's really the main distinction between individually registering the copyrighted work versus registering on a bulk basis. But I highly advocate that as the method. If, let's say, you are a photographer that historically has been known to do kind of like series or collections of different photos, that's the kind of thing that is definitely something you should consider in your back pocket. And one other thing I would say is try to do that registration before you make it public to anyone else. So I would say if you're known to take your photos, take the raw files, you go on Photoshop, you touch it up a little bit, before you even post it on your website or in a Lightbox for a client or anywhere else where it would be considered public dissemination, take those works, register it in the U.S. Copyright Office, and while you're waiting for the registration to happen, then you can kind of slowly make it available to the public. But I would say your odds are better to wait until you have a fully registered number rather, to then make that content available to the public. That might actually be the safer course, because now at that point, you really truly have not made it known to the public. And now you can really enforce your copyright. If, let's say, someone were to take your work and infringe it in some capacity, now you can say, well, I didn't make this available until such and such date, and I had a registration number before this was even made known to the public. And now at that point, you can go after the infringer with the cease and desist. If they don't comply, then you've got a really good beeline for a copyright infringement claim that not only affords you statutory damages, which is usually $150,000 per claim, but now you can go after them for a little extra, especially if you're asking for a jury trial. The jury could determine what that little extra something could be.
And so if you are going to be registering multiple things at once for your copyright protection, that could actually work to your benefit. And if you are doing it in a way that is going to make sure that all of that is done before you make it to the public, that'll help you even more. If you've got questions on this, go ahead and drop those down below. And as always, Tony is here to keep us legally protected in the entrepreneurial space. So he will be back for upcoming episodes. Drop any questions you have for us. You can always reach out to him on his social media as well for in-the-moment questions and conversations. So Tony, where can everybody find you online?
You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at The IP Professor. And you can check out my entertainment law podcast called Unseen. New episodes drop every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
along for more daily videos to help you make this your most profitable year ever inside of your business by saving you time and effort creating your social content, making sure that you're navigating the legal side of entrepreneurship beautifully, and making sure that we're getting your questions answered so that you can live your best life while also running your business. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.